So I'm here shooting the Audi Q3, and I heard about this technique, but I couldn't find anything about it online. So I thought I'd try it out and document it a little for you and see if it works out. So what I thought about was, how do you do a driving shot with motion, but you're not really doing the motion in post, as in creating motion post. I wanted to shoot the motion in camera and then superimpose the car on it, but with sort of just only masking, nothing else, no motion blur, no nothing. But obviously we'll have to still do the spin blur on the wheels. So I bought a slider right here, and what I plan to do is take an image of the background while moving the slider, and that'll blur out the plate of the background. Now, what I think I need to do is place the slider parallel to the motion of the car. I think that's what I need to do. Now, what I also need is, of course, I'll need to shoot the car itself. I'd like a polarizing filter, a circular polarizer that takes care of the reflections, puts in or takes out any reflections I want. But I also need to put on top of that a variable density filter that allows me to reduce the exposure, hence reduce the shutter speed and get that shutter drag. And if you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, but when I turn it, the darkness varies. So that's what happens with a variable density filter. So I'm gonna place that right on top of my polarizer right here. Okay, and I've set up the scene of the car. Let's come that way. I've set up the scene of the car where we've got the sun right above the mountains, and I'll show you the image in a second. The sun's coming out real nice. I'm going to start shooting. I'll shoot a still image of the car by itself, and then a plate of the background and the car moving. And just for safety, I'm going to get not just for safety, I think that's going to be the main one, just the background moving without the car. So let me show you what we're going to do. So I think I kind of missed like the magic moment, but it's okay. I think I can tweak it later in post. But so I'm shooting the still image just now. It's on the tripod. It's locked. The slider's not moving. I'm at F11 just now. I want everything sharp, and then I put here on the shutter speed. Whatever I put in, it's okay. So I'm gonna click an image. I'll take a few different exposures just in case. See which one I like, and I already chose sort of which kind of reflection I want using the polarizing filter. Now I'm going to release the slider, and I'm going to put the aperture on auto. Okay, there we go. And put my shutter speed on, let's say, 1 second. All right. Okay, yeah, 1 second. So I'm releasing the slider, going all the way on this side. I'm in manual focus. The reason I did that is so I set my focus on the car, so my focal point doesn't change while I'm doing all the sliding business. So 1, 2, 3. Great. And do another one just in case. 1, 2, 3. And the reason I think this will work out better than trying to do it in post is because the different distances from your lens creates different speeds of blur, and it's very hard to recreate that in post. I think what happens usually with photographers, they just do the whole thing, the whole background with one speed, so it looks fake. So usually like the mountains all the way in the back shouldn't be moving as much as the rocks all the way in the foreground. So let's see what happens. Let's see what this looks like in post. I almost forgot, actually, because this is the first time I'm doing this, I almost forgot to take the plate without the car. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to move the car and So this is around about the time I stopped recording, but when I moved the car, I used this shot, and I love this part where the foreground is very blurry and the background is not. So this is the one I chose to go with. So I then loaded them, loaded the photos up in Capture One. These are the two shots I'm going to use. One is the still car, and one is the moving background. Load them both up in Photoshop, of course, after you do all your color adjustments and all that stuff. So easiest way to do it is just, Command A, copy the whole car image into the background image. And then just to keep the size lower, I select the car in any form, rectangular or marquee or whatever you want, invert the selection and hit delete. And that just removes all the other elements that you don't want, you're never going to use. So, there's kind of two ways to go about this with masking. Either you just, directly go in and use your mask tool, add a masking layer. And with your brush tool, mask in or out, whatever you want. I tend to go the easy route when I'm doing the tutorials, or sometimes if it's really far away, I'll just go the easy route and just, with the brush, mask out the parts that I don't want to show. But if if it's a close-up shot, or if I really want the shot to be perfect, then I'll go in with a pen tool and mark out the car, and then make sure it's exactly at that place. I'll fast forward the next part just for you to so we don't have to wait for me to click every little dot. Here we go. Fast forward. Now I made one mistake here. I didn't crop in. I didn't select the shadow. Now the shadow is really important to give that that realistic feeling. So don't forget your shadow. I totally missed that. So bring in the shadow as well. So once you've made your selection, if you hit inverse as well, inverse the selection again. So it selects all the outside, everything outside the car, outside the selection, and then go in and mask out all the excess background from the still image. There we go. Oh, that's no good. Select inverse. There we go. And then you just use a big brush, and then now you see the shadow went away, and it just looks awful. It just looks very unrealistic. So don't do that. Remember to keep in the shadow. I didn't do that at that point. Now it's time for the spin blur. Now you got to spin the wheels, right? So at this point, my computer kind of died. Spin blur, I'll show you where it is. You go to blur gallery, and then spin blur. Now my computer kind of died at this point. Spin blur takes a toll on your CPU. So I sent it to Sanila from Purple Matrix, and she hooked me up. She even was kind enough to do a screen recording of her doing the spin blur. So this is Sanila doing her spin blur right there. So yeah, just add a spin blur to each of the wheels. I fast forwarded that so you're not waiting too long till the end. Add that spin blur to the wheels, hit OK, and go in again and mask out all the areas you don't want to have the spin blur on. It's a pretty super simple, easy way to do it. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways. People will tell you, spin blur the rims and then do something else with the tires. But I wouldn't worry too much about that, especially if the shot is so far away. So this is what the final shot looks like. I've done a few more with the same technique. This is what they look like. I hope this video explains a lot. And I guess thank you for watching.